As you know, there was 4 of us that started the business, and we were blood related, you know. As we evolved, we separated, you know, we demerged, and Tony stayed in Europe and Anthony was in Europe, but me and Guy were here. But even though Anthony was part of our group, we found other family members which we same ideas. We shared, not by blood, we weren't family by blood, but we were family by ideas, common ideas. And so basically, when we talk about family business, and now where we are, it's still a family business, because it isn't an organization. It's a group of people that share the same ideas, treat each other as family. In other words, if you're in trouble, I'm going to be right behind you and catch you. I'm not going to look at the negative things that you have. I'm going to pick out all the positive things about you, and those are the things that I'm going to excel. And if we have that type of culture in the business, it's very difficult to go wrong, because when somebody is weak, somebody else steps in. When somebody is strong, somebody pushes them up, you know? Now, some people might find that, some people might not. But you got to be open, and you got to look for good in people. Otherwise, you'll never find it. You know, forgive and forget, move in the right direction, and don't hold grudges. That's, you know, it just impurifies you, and you can't do what you need to do. Most people relate to leadership as being on top and telling people what to do. That's not leadership, that's management. You know, a manager manages projects, but they tend to also manage people. Well, you're not going to get 100% out of somebody that you manage. Everybody wants to feel as if they're part of you and they belong. Everybody wants to feel as they contributing to your vision, to your goal. So as a leader, my position was always, I've got to enroll people that share the same culture as me. So I would take time over and over again to explain what the culture of Toni&Guy was and what I stood for, and that's what the culture is. And then I would say, look, now I want you to analyze yourself. Do you believe in those things? Do you believe in commitment? Do you believe in passion? Do you believe in communication? If you believe in those things, then you can board this train. Then after you've got that type of rapport, then you go in and you said, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to get there. This is the goal. This is the vision. This is what we need to do to get to this point. This is what we've got to become to be able to accomplish this. Now, not only do they feel we belong to something, but now they also have a vision of a path how to move forward. That's the way that you can actually lead people, if they respect you and they feel respected by you. Lead by example. Don't just say you should do this and then you do something else. You know, you've got to lead by example. You've got to respect people. And if somebody is hurting or whatever, anticipate their moods. You know, I remember one thing really specific. I had this young lady that had moved from a different city into Dallas because she wanted to work with Toni&Guy. And she had to leave her family behind. And she moved into an apartment with just one room, right? And she was on her own. And we were having a meeting because I saw her one day in the shop and she was a little bit, you know, anticipating her needs. And I said, what's wrong? She said, well, you know, I feel a little bit lonely. I come to work and then I go home and it's all quiet. I don't have a television and there's no noise in the room. And then the next day I come back to work and then, you know, I think I've got to go back home and there's no television. And this word television kept coming up, you know. She obviously couldn't afford a television. So the next day I got one of my guys to buy her a TV and we gave it to her. But that was anticipating that it was, you know, she was 19 years old. She'd moved away from home into an apartment on her own with no television. It was a big thing for her, you know. So being aware of what people are saying, and when you lead, you've got to listen, not just talk, right? And anticipating that, we got somebody that stayed with us for a long time for a simple thing as a television, you know? Those are the type of things that you have to pay attention to. It's almost just like paying attention to human nature and human beings, you know? It's people that make successes, not things, you know? We don't just have salons, we also have 24 academies. And to see young people come into this profession, I want to be able to touch them and share my wisdom with them to help them become great hairdressers. To have somebody that, like my father was to me, I want to be that to them, to help them and guide them. Because hairdressing isn't just about the skills of learning how to cut and dress hair or color hair. It's about gaining confidence. It's about communication. It's about goal setting, having a vision, setting a standard, you know? So I have the opportunity either to Skype in with every school or to meet when I go touring around to be able to teach them how they can get themselves more confident by setting them goal standards and help and teach them how to goal set, and then how to communicate and the type of communications there are, and finding out that they have to be committed into something, and if they're not passionate about what they're doing, they're never going to become successful. And so for me, it's a passion to get up and do this, as well as building, you know, and I feel like really fortunate because we built TG and we sold it. Now I'm having for an opportunity in one lifetime to build 2 companies, and that's phenomenal.